Once upon a time, in the heart of the lush, green jungle, there lived a crocodile named Crunchy. But Crunchy wasn't like other crocodiles. He wasn't scary or fierce. In fact, Crunchy was known throughout the jungle as the biggest and silliest crocodile anyone had ever seen. Every day, Crunchy would come up with the most ridiculous ideas, and it would always lead him into some kind of funny trouble. One day, he decided that instead of living in the river like a regular crocodile, he would build himself a house in the tallest tree. "Just imagine," he said, "I'll be the first crocodile to live in the sky." So, with his big tail swishing from side to side, Crunchy set off to find the biggest tree in the jungle. He climbed and climbed, which wasn't easy with his short legs, but finally, he made it to the top. All the other animals in the jungle watched in astonishment. How would a crocodile, of all creatures, build a house in a tree? Crunchy smiled from ear to ear as he tied together sticks, leaves, and vines to make his treehouse. But there was just one problem: he forgot to make a ladder. When he wanted to get down to the river for a swim, he had no way to climb back up. Silly Crunchy. As he sat there scratching his head, a mischievous little monkey named Milo swung by. Milo had a great laugh at Crunchy's predicament. "Why don't you make a vine swing, Crunchy? You can swing from the river back to your house in the tree," suggested Milo, giggling. Crunchy thought this was the best idea ever. So, he tied a vine from his treehouse to the ground, and after some wobbly practice, he learned to swing from his treehouse to the river. It was like his own jungle roller coaster. But Crunchy wasn't satisfied just yet. "What if I learn to fly?" he said one morning, his eyes twinkling with excitement. Milo, now enjoying watching Crunchy's antics, couldn't resist encouraging him. "Fly? That's impossible for a crocodile." But Crunchy didn't listen. He tied 2 giant palm leaves to his back like wings, and he climbed back to his treehouse, ready to take flight. He jumped off with all his might, flapping his palm leaf wings like a bird. Of course, he didn't fly. Instead, Crunchy tumbled down, flipping and flopping through the branches and landing in the soft mud below with a big splat. But instead of being upset, Crunchy just laughed. "Maybe crocodiles aren't meant to fly after all," he said, wiping mud from his nose. Days went by, and the jungle animals started to gather around to see what new silly thing Crunchy would try next. Every day, there was something new, whether it was trying to balance on top of a rhino like a circus act or making a raft out of coconuts to float down the river. But the thing everyone loved most about Crunchy was his heart. He might have been silly, but he was also the kindest crocodile in the jungle. Whenever a baby animal was lost, Crunchy would help them find their way home. If the birds needed extra sticks for their nests, Crunchy was the first to offer his help. And whenever there was a celebration in the jungle, Crunchy would bake the most delicious mud pies and bring them to share. One day, the jungle received some alarming news. A big storm was coming. It would be the biggest storm the jungle had seen in years. The animals rushed to prepare their homes. Crunchy, however, was too busy chasing butterflies in the rain to notice the dark clouds rolling in. Suddenly, there was a loud crash. The wind blew fiercely, and the river began to rise. Crunchy's treehouse swayed dangerously in the wind. Just as Crunchy was about to swing down to safety, he realized his vine swing had snapped in the storm. Panic spread through the jungle. The other animals were all safe in their homes, but everyone worried about Crunchy stuck in his tree. Would the big, silly crocodile be okay? Just then, Milo the monkey had an idea. Crunchy always helps us when we're in trouble. Now it's our turn to help him. Milo called out to the other animals. The jungle quickly came together. Elephants used their trunks to move large branches, birds flew up to tie the vines back together, and Milo swung from tree to tree, giving directions. Crunchy, from his swaying treehouse, saw the animals working together to help him. His heart filled with gratitude. He had always thought of himself as a bit of a silly crocodile, but now he realized how much his friends cared for him. With their combined efforts, the animals built a new, stronger vine swing for Crunchy. With a big, silly grin, Crunchy grabbed hold of the vine and swung down just as the storm hit its peak. He landed safely on the ground with a splash, and all the animals cheered. "Thank you, everyone," Crunchy said, tears of joy welling up in his big crocodile eyes. "I may be the silliest crocodile, but I'm the luckiest too, because I have such amazing friends." The storm raged on through the night, but the animals knew they were safe because they had each other. And after the storm passed, the jungle was more beautiful than ever. The river sparkled under the sun, and the trees seemed to stand taller and greener. As for Crunchy, well, he never stopped being silly. He still tried to build a flying machine every now and then or come up with new ways to make the animals laugh. But now, whenever he found himself in a tricky spot, he knew he could count on his jungle friends to help him out, just like he had always helped them. And so, the biggest, silliest crocodile lived happily in the jungle, surrounded by laughter, friendship, and a never-ending sense of adventure.